It's feeling a lot better than it did on Sunday. But I've been getting some good sleep, so I can't say it's too bad.
Mike was talking to us about your understanding of the difference between like the playbook version of the route and then how that route evolves in the game context. How has your understanding of that evolved through your career?
I remember being the kid that showed up to OTAs when I first got here, and running the paper route. So exactly how I had a diagonal line, and then it straightened back up, and then the ability to understand timing, and then to feel leverages, and then to be in some of the quarterback meetings, and to talk to guys like Puka, and obviously to be on the same page as your quarterback. And then when you get live reps of like, man, there's sometimes where the safety's getting ready to run downhill, and the skinny 5-step in break doesn't look the same because of where the depth that he plays with. So I'm getting some of those in-game reps definitely change how you run some of those routes, and through experience, through practices like today where you mess up a couple plays and you're like, all right, I know what not to do on Sunday.
How do those decisions, like how much of that decision is made at the line of scrimmage versus like after the snap as you're seeing how the defense reacts?
I guess, yeah. Some of them with how our offense is set up, and them being cans and understanding, all right, where the defense is set up and where we want to attack them. So some of that is kind of post-snap and being like, all right, we trust the play call that we have up, and that we're going to be able to get them in the spots that we want to. And then sometimes understanding where coach has us lined up and how that's going to get our execution done, depending on where we may have some motions or just where we're aligned on the field. So I would say it's a good mixture of about 50-50, and then, going out there and trying to play as fast as you can.
I saw the mic'd up video of your teammates hitting you in the back with pads. Where did that come from?
I'd say it was something in college, and something I feel like growing up playing with my older brothers and having their intensity for my little Pee Wee football championship games, and being in the car with them, and the music, the tone, the intensity, and definitely getting hit out of the car as I was running out there from the football field. So part of that takes me back, but then I think it's always nice to get a little wake up on the sideline before you officially get hit by somebody else out there.
Why is
Tyler
it
Higbee that took care of that for you most of the time?
I've had a couple different guys. I know BA was my rookie year. AJ Curry's been out there. I have a mixture of guys. I want somebody who's got a good slap in them. I don't want them to baby me for sure.
And what was the reaction the first time you've asked these teammates to do it?
The first one is always like three, like, oh, go out there, good job, buddy. Like, I'm like, no, that's not at all what I want from you. So it's always like, all right, the first one normally ends up being 6 slaps because it's like the first thing, like, oh, I don't want to hurt you. I'm like, all right, come on. I didn't ask you to give me a little pat on the back because I'm a little kid.
Why is it 3?
One, I just feel like 2 is just not really enough, and the third one, hopefully it's like, all right, now like you kind of hit the same spot, and the third one's like, all right, I've got good repetition, you can really tee off on kind of that last one.
Is it just before the game?
Before the snaps, before kind of offense, change possession, stuff like that.
Before every drive?
Yeah.
How was it playing with Devontae for the first time? You guys have been through practices and joint practices, but to be out there at the same time together, how do you feel like you guys work together?
I feel like it was exactly kind of how I expected it, for him to be the tone setter kind of for our offense, especially for our group. I know the game that I love to play is a physical game of football, and then when you go out there and see, as I mentioned before, somebody that I've looked up to as being a football player and a wide receiver, to see him kind of take that first third down and to stand up and to give that exclamation point of being like, all right, we're here. We're going to take your best shot. We're going to stand up and we're going to get ready to march the ball forward. So that was, I think, a spark in our offense, and to my eyes, it'd be like there's a toughness that you earn the right to play within the NFL, and he definitely has that. So it was super exciting, and then the ability to see kind of how a defense is going to shift to somebody that they respect and they know can be a game changer. So we saw number 24 go down, and then also come back in, and then follow number 17 out there, and then the ability to watch guys have to force communication while we're out there is super fun, because you're like, all right, I kind of know what's going on, and just like we were kind of talking about some of our cans and some of the operation pre-snap of understanding, all right, if these are who are the 2 guys who are guarding number 17, all right, I can figure out my matchup from there.
Your teammates and coaches have talked about your toughness and how they knew pretty early on when you got here. When was the first time that you realized that the physicality in the NFL is different than what you were used to in college?
Training camp, definitely. First training camp pattern practice, we're down there, and man, you have the tempo and the urgency when you're in OTAs of like, man, I got to get my hat in the front of the safeties as they're coming down here to the field. I got got to get my head across when I'm sifting some of these defensive ends line of scrimmage. And then you feel the weight of a 280-pound guy at the line of scrimmage. You're like, holy cow! The bench press that we do, it definitely didn't prepare me for that. And then just the downhill demeanor that some of these guys and the explosiveness that they have when they're coming downfield, and then being like, all right, you buckling your chest or your shoulder pads up a little tighter, make sure you got both of them ready to go, so you can hit somebody as square and as firm as you can. But I remember that first training camp practice, there was a 12 duo that I definitely wasn't prepared for.
Coach shared that you guys had to stay in the receiver room. You can't live forever. You like going across the middle. You feel like you kind of take that to heart how you play.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I think, it's definitely something that Coach Arms talks about. When you're going to go and you're going to, that's, I think, just like kind of set the tone with Devontae. When you go out there and you catch that one and you take your best shot, it's definitely going to hurt a little bit, but when you catch the ball, you feel better, and it kind of demoralizes your defense.
Devontae was joking that fantasy owners that had him probably weren't too happy with what happened in the opener. Were your fantasy owners, did you get any reaction, and what was the reaction based on your performance?
I know there was a couple messages early about nobody ever wishes their guys get hurt early on in the game. So there were a couple first half messages, and there was a couple second half messages. So I think everybody hopefully ended the day pretty happy.
When you got the stitches, was it a question of whether you were going to go back into the game?
No, I knew that I assumed that there was definitely going to be some testing for the concussion protocol, that taking a big shot like that to the head. But I just wanted to make sure I felt like half of my face had fallen off into my face mask that was all the way over here, as I knew that I was trying to look out this side of my helmet. So, but no, yeah, no question. It would be like, man, I got both my arms attached to me, both my legs are working. I'm ready to go back out there.
In training camp, you guys had a lot of mamba periods this year compared to last few. And Sean said he wanted to do that to create more calluses when you guys got to the regular season. Did you feel a different level of preparedness in the team when you guys got to crunch time on Sunday compared to maybe where you were last September?
Yeah, I'd say it definitely was an advantage for us. I feel like it's fun to go against our defense. Guys who feel our step, understand some of the motions, and that's why the advantage of going against these guys on practice and getting some of those extra mile periods makes it more fun. I think there's the number 4 on our side of the ball is a pretty good quarterback, and I think of Kobe Durant and the guys who helped evolve my game because I get to go against them every day. It definitely pays off when you get somebody who hasn't seen a motion from us, a flare motion or a slip motion. So you get some edges on Sunday, but you definitely get to work some of those tools throughout the week.
Wrap with you, Puka, you aforementioned riding in the car, going to the championship, Pee Wee football, and the tunes that your brothers played. What were those tunes, and how has the music evolved now, Puka?
I would say my dad definitely played. There's a decent amount of AC/DC going on before we would show up to the games. My brothers were big fans of, I'd say, Jay-Z and Kanye growing up. I remember those two being in the mix, and then there's a little bit of Drake in there. So I think Drake has definitely made his way into my playlist still today. And I wouldn't say there's too many AC/DC songs. I listen to a little more Pig every once in a while, but I'd say that's about it.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Puka.